In 1977, a small factory in Colvin, Leicester got to work on something that would change the lives of countless people. Little did they realise that people were still caring enough 40 years later to sit and listen to a guy waffle on about that product. This is the Star Wars Toy Podcast.
Hello there, welcome to episode 23 of the Star Wars Toy Podcast. I'm your host, Darth Mark, and on today's show, we're going to be having a lot of Star Wars Tracker, as we've missed it the last couple of weeks. I do believe that you will find the first one very interesting, and hopefully the second one as well, but the first one is, as you'll find out, about a certain Mandalorian. No, not that one, the other one.
The Star Wars Tracker Report.
One of the most interesting Boba Fett loose figure variants to collect is the painted blue helm kind. Unless the images are good, this can be next to impossible to spot, but it refers to the head of the figure being painted instead of being just the usual blue plastic mould. Examples don't come up very often, and with so many collectors after Boba Fett items, there's a natural Fett tax associated with it. The AFA 85 example takes second spot on the loose figure top 5 this week at a price of $640. And we will get to that in a minute. But first we'll do the top 5 accessories. At number 5, an Imperial Shuttle. Kenner, Return of the Jedi A, Emperor Arrival Scene. Sold in the United States for $470. And number 4, Land of the Jawas playset. Palatoy, Star Wars A, play set scene, sold in the United Kingdom for £376. At number 3, we have the Palatoy Death Star, loose, sold in the United Kingdom for £450. At number 2, we have a 12-inch Obi-Wan Kenobi AFA 80, Kenner, Star Wars A, picture box with window, sold in the United States for $610. At number 1, we have a 12-inch Han Solo AFA 80, Kenner, Star Wars A picture box, again sold in the United States for $790. So on to the top 5 loose figures now. Number 5, we have a Luke Skywalker fanboy, yellow hair, AFA 85, Kenner, sold in the United States for $430. Number 4, we have a Yak Face UKG 90, Kenner, sold in the United Kingdom for £380. That's fairly high. But the next one is also a Yak Face, AFA 85 Plus, Kenner, sold in the United States this time for $510. So it's just a bit higher than the other one. They're still very high though, but you're paying for the grading, obviously. Number 2, well, we've mentioned this before, the Boba Fett AFA 85 Kenner, United States, $640. But at number 1, we have another Boba Fett, UKG 85, a Lily Lady one this time, sold in the United Kingdom for £740. On to the top 5 mock figures for the 15th of November. At number 5, we have a Cloth Cape Jawa, AFA U90, Meccano, Star Wars 20A, the square card version, sold in the United States for $746. That's a really good one at 90, AFA 90. At number 4, we have a Day Squad Commander AFA 80 Plus, Kenner, Star Wars 12C, sold in the United States at $760. At number 3, we have a C-3PO, a Glass Leet version this time, Power of the Force 12A, sold in the United States for $785. And number 2, we have another C-3PO, but an AFA 85 Kenner Star Wars 12B one this time, sold in the United States for $1,135. But at number 1, we have an Imperial Stormtrooper AFA 85 Kenner Star Wars 12A card, sold in the United States for $3,290. So on to the second, more up-to-date Star Wars Tracker Report, and this is the 16th of November to the 22nd of November 2019. 822 items sold for a total of 59,000 £342. So the top 5 accessories are at number 5, Landspeeder, Kenner, Star Wars D LP box with C-3PO and R2 special offer, sold in the United States for $636. At number 4, we have a Jawa Sandcrawler, Kenner, Star Wars A trading scene, sold in the United States for $810. At number 3, we have a Darth Vader TIE Fighter, a CAS 85, Kenner, Star Wars B, stationary shot, collector series, sold in the United States for $1,010. At number 2, we have a Darth Vader TIE Fighter again, AFA 80 this time, Kenner, Star Wars B, stationary shot, collector series, sold in the United States for $1,150. And at number 1, we have an Imperial TIE Fighter this time, AFA QA85, Kenner, Star Wars A, TIE Fighter title, long play logo, sold in the United States for $1,675. So on to the top 5 loose figures. At number 5, we have Yak Face, AFA 80, Kenner, United States, $415. At number 4, we have a blue Snaggletooth with dent, AFA 80, Kenner, sold in the United States for $425. At number 3, we have another Yak Face, UKG 90, Kenner, sold in the United Kingdom for $360. That's 2 in 2 weeks selling at that price. So I wonder if that Yak Face is going up in price. I know it's a UKG 90 and you get more for your money for grading, obviously. And just looking at the Star Wars tracker, there seems to be an 8% rise in the average price of the Yak Face. It's now £207. The highest is $401. And the minimum you're going to be paying is £132. That's in the last 6 months, 34 sold. But if you're just looking at graded versions, the average has gone down 5% to £321. Your minimum's going to be £206, but your highest is £426, and there's been 22 sold in the last 6 months. So it's quite surprising that the graded version has gone down in price, whereas the non-graded version has gone up in price. There's hope for us all yet. So back to the list. At number 2, we have a Vinyl Cape Jawa, Kenner, sold in the United Kingdom for £560. But at number 1, we have a DT Saber Luke Skywalker Farmboy, Kenner, United States for $831. Finally, on to the top 5 mock figures. At number 5, we have an R2-D2 pop-up lightsaber, Palatoy, Return of the Jedi 70D, sold in Holland for $1,275. At number 4, we have a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight with a green saber, a clipper card this time, Return of the Jedi 65C, again sold in Holland. They must have an auction or something. $1,331. Number 3, we have a Luke Skywalker Imperial Stormtrooper outfit, AFA 80Y, Kenner, Power of the Force 92A, sold in the United Kingdom for £1,200. At number 2, we have a Yoda Orange Snake AFA 85, Kenner, Empire Strikes Back 32A, sold in the United States for $1,625. But at number 1, we have another Luke Skywalker fanboy, yellow hair, AFA 85, on a Kenner Star Wars 12A, the start of anybody's carded collection. Sold in the United States for $2,849. So that's your doubled Star Wars tracker for this week. If you're interested in finding out what your collection is worth, head over to www.starwarstracker.com.
Penny for your thoughts.
There have been dozens of Star Wars video games through the years, however, identical to the movies themselves, some are remembered more fondly than the others. For each Star Wars recreation as beloved as The Empire Strikes Back, there are half a dozen which can be as hated as The Phantom Menace, or even as divisive as The Last Jedi. Then there are the all-time classics like Knights of the Old Republic, which some followers declare to be higher than the complete movie saga. So at the end of this, I'm going to review the the latest game to come out, Jedi Fallen Order. But before that, I'm going to give you the top 25 Star Wars games. So, number 25, we have Star Wars Episode 1, Jedi Power Battles. This came out in 2000 on the Dreamcast, the PlayStation, and the Game Boy Advance. Jedi Power Battles delivers one thing that you simply suppose could be extra widespread in Star Wars video games. The straightforward pleasure of utilising a lightsaber to slash tons of enemies with a companion by your side. It's not the prettiest or deepest creation, however it's enjoyable and it does function as a stable choice prequel era Jedi. There are even a few unlockable characters, and whereas the Dreamcast version is the best, even the Game Boy Advance port wasn't too shabby. At number 24 we have Star Wars TIE Fighter, 1994, only available on the PC, and this is a very definition of an oldie but goodie. Whereas the graphics show their age, the gameplay is absolutely timeless. The battles themselves actually feel like World War II dogfights. Unfortunately, this game is now available on Steam. At number 23, we have Shadows of the Empire. This came out in 1996. It was on the N64 and PC. Shadows of the Empire graphics haven't aged very well. However, that should not make it feel like much less of an epic. The fantastic thing about having it happen between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi is that it permits you to play out some of the cool moments linked to these movies, just like the Battle of Hoth and the confrontation with Boba Fett. Admittedly, this was sort of clunky to play when it first came out. However, an HD remake might iron out the kinks. At number 2, we have The Force Unleashed 2. The first Force Unleashed was a enjoyable, however flawed, game. Hopes had been excessive for the sequel. However, sadly, it was nevertheless flawed in the same way, primarily with a foolish story about being a clone that lasts all of 3 hours. However, The Force Unleashed 2 continues to be a fantastic game to behold, and there's one thing extraordinarily satisfying about tearing out into stormtroopers with force lightning and dual-wielding lightsabers. It's a real shame we never got a number 3. At number 21, we have Star Wars The Old Republic. The Old Republic shouldn't be Knights of the Old Republic 3, and a few avid gamers won't even recover from that. What it is, nevertheless, is an MMO that takes its story very seriously. The kind of dedication required for an MMO isn't for each gamer. However, with these avid gamers who actually wish to really feel that they're residing in a galaxy far, far away, there's no better choice. And it's been free to play for years now, so there's no reason not to play it. At number 20, we have Super Star Wars. From 1992 on the Super Nintendo. Super Star Wars was a little bit of oddity in comparison with the later Star Wars video games. It tracks the plot of A New Hope fairly intently, but in addition takes some fairly massive liberties. It includes Luke fighting large scorpions and even infiltrating a Jawa sandcrawler. Super Star Wars also had 2 sequels, Super Empire Strikes Back and Super Return of the Jedi, and you can find these on the PlayStation Network, but beware, they are really difficult. Number 19, we have Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars from 2011. This was on the PlayStation 3, the PC, the Wii, and the Xbox 360. Traveller's Tales had already cranked out 3 superior Lego Star Wars video games at this level, so you'd expect they'd do it all again based on the favoured Clone Wars cartoon, and they kinda did. It's nonetheless enjoyable replaying episodes and amassing thousands of studs. However, the baffling inclusion of RTS parts brings this one down just a few pegs. At number 18, we have Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith from 2005 on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Except for the Lego video games, there hasn't been many games that are straight adaptation of the movie itself. Revenge of the Sith is extraordinarily devoted to the film and provides in a reasonably deep combo system, as you play as both Anakin and Obi-Wan. And when you play via the ultimate mission as Anakin, you get an ending that is totally different from the movie. At number 17, we have Pinball FX3 from 2017. On the PC, PlayStation 4, the Xbox, and the Wii U. The newest model of Pinball FX incorporates greater than a dozen tables and includes characters from all 3 Star Wars trilogies. And whereas the standard of every table doesn't vary all that much, it is at all times enjoyable to play via scenes from episodes 4 to 7 and Rogue One, and go for the excessive rating, whereas listening to the Imperial March on the Darth Vader table. Number 16, we have Star Wars Dark Forces. This came out in 1996 on the PC and the PlayStation. Doom and Quake were sometimes seen as the pinnacles of first-person shooters in the 90s. However, Dark Forces truly deserves a whole lot of credit score for its improvements. Because of its depth, it holds up higher than a whole lot of different 90s PC shooters. At number 15, we have Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Came out in 2002 on the PlayStation 2. Sadly, it doesn't seem we'll ever get to play Star Wars 1313. The cancelled recreation about Boba Fett's bounty hunting adventures within the less respectable areas of Coruscant. We do have the Mandalorian, of course, and I'm sure there will be a game coming out very soon. But we did get Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which is the story of his father, the man he had cloned from, and his personal adventures throughout the prequel period. It's admittedly just a little glitchy and never terribly progressive. However, it's always empowering to play as the bounty hunter, and especially a Fett. At number 14, we have Star Wars Empire at War. This came out in 2006, and it came out on the PC. Admittedly, Empire at War isn't as deep as StarCraft 2. However, StarCraft 2 didn't have X-Wings, AT-ATs, or Darth Vader as items. This is an above common RTS recreation, and permits you to plot out victory for both the Galactic Empire and the Insurgent Alliance. The RTS style is such an ideal match for Star Wars. It's stunning that other video games haven't gone this route. Number 13, we have Star Wars Rogue Squadron. This came out in 1998 on the Nintendo 64 and on the PC, whereas a number of video games let gamers pilot an X-Wing previous to Rogue Squadron. Issue 5's masterpiece simply made it piloting those starfighters extra enjoyable with its extra arcadey controls and missions. And even now, the game plays well and sounds phenomenal. Issue 5 pulled some actual magic out getting the old N64 to make a game that has also holds up 20 years later. Just be warned, the later missions are extraordinarily difficult. At number 12, we have Star Wars Battlefront. Coming in at 2015 on a PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Quite a bit has been mentioned concerning the game Battlefront. It's true that it's a little mild on content material, and it's even lacking options that have been in predecessors. However, Battlefront continues to be an enjoyable multiplayer shooter to leap into a couple of minutes or hours, and it captures the texture of the movies higher than any other Star Wars game earlier than it. It's among the finest video games of its present technology, and the inclusion of Rogue One content material a year after launch made the game a lot better. It's just a shame that the microtransaction mess plagued its sequel. Number 11, Disney Infinity 3. This came out in 2015 on the PC, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Wii U, and the Xbox. Toys and Star Wars go collectively like George Lucas and unhealthy dialogue. Even when you discover the gameplay in Disney Infinity 3 is too kiddie or simple, it's arduous for any Star Wars fan to withstand the handfuls of plastic toys launched alongside the game. Plus, it's the one game thus far where you'll see Darth Vader work alongside Spider-Man and Mickey Mouse. At number 10, we have LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. This came out in 2016 on the 3DS, PC, PlayStation 3, 4, Wii U, and Xbox. Regardless of dabbling in quite a few different franchises through the years, the primary 3 LEGO Star Wars video games are arguably nevertheless among the most easiest to return out of Traveller's Tales. It's no shock then that the prolific developers did justice to the LEGO model of The Force Awakens. This isn't a revolutionary title, only a good and sometimes hilarious tackle of the film, with added bonus of canon missions set after the Return of the Jedi and playable characters spanning the complete saga. At number 9, we have Star Wars The Force Unleashed. This came out in 2008 on the PC, PlayStation 3, Wii, and Xbox 360. Whereas it's not an ideal game by any means, no other Star Wars game has captured what it would feel like to have total power and force at your disposal, and also having satisfying lightsaber and force lightning fights, or even taking down a Star Destroyer, until recently that is. At number 8, we have a Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. This came out on the DC, the Nintendo 64 and the PC. Although The Phantom Menace is usually thought as an essentially most disappointing Star Wars movie, it's truly resulted in few of the greatest video games. Perhaps it is the result of that I didn't observe the film so intently. Racer took most of the finest scenes from the film, Anakin's epic pod race to victory, and turned it right into a full-featured recreation, closely linked to F-Zero and Wipeout. It was an idea that was just about inconceivable to screw up, and made for one of the most easiest Star Wars video games. Number 7, we have Star Wars Republic Commando. This came out in 2005 on the PC and Xbox. Republic Commando took some massive risks, but they paid off. You don't function as a Jedi, and it shuns the motion journey gameplay of most Star Wars video games for a tactical first-person shooter, and as you lead the elite group of clone troopers initially in the Clone Wars, and greater than a decade later, the Netherlands and many FPS video games as enjoyable or progressive as a Republic Commando. If there are any Star Wars games begging for a sequel or an HD remake, this is the one. At number 5, we have Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. This came out in 2001 and came out on the GameCube. No game has nailed the texture of what it could be to pilot an X-Wing like Rogue Leader. The graphics have been mind-blowing when the game first came out in 2001 on the GameCube, and they still look good today. No X-Wing game has got the Death Star trench run as good as Rogue Squadron did, and sadly the sequel didn't capitalise on Rogue Leader's success, including some ill-advised on-foot missions, and Issue 5 barely exists as a developer after the much more ill-advised Leia for PlayStation 3. Number 4, we have Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. This came out in 2002 on the GameCube, PC and the Xbox. The largest problem most fans have with the Disney's acquisition of Star Wars is the number of now classed as Legends stories that have been tossed out. And one of the largest losses is Kyle Katarn, the Imperial officer turned Jedi who starred in the best Star Wars game. A number of Star Wars video games allow you to wield lightsaber and force powers. However, none have mastered the combo fairly and properly. And a few video games have had such freedom to discover the post-Return Jedi timeline as Jedi Outcast did. You even got time to spend a while with Luke Skywalker at his new Jedi temple on Yavin 4. Sadly, post-Disney, we'll most likely no means see Kyle Katarn ever again. So number 3, we have Lego Star Wars The Full Saga. This came out in 2007 on the PC, PlayStation 3, the Wii and the Xbox 360. Surprisingly, that is the one Star Wars game thus far that allows you to play via the primary 6 motion pictures in their entirety. Don't let the Lego veneer fool you. It's a nice game with enjoyable and assorted gameplay. That's pretty true to its source material, with just a few hilarious deviations. And with a ridiculous 160 playable characters, it's possible that you'll simply discover your whole favourites right there, irrespective of how obscure they are. At number 2, we have Star Wars Battlefront 2. And no, not the current one, the one that came out in 2005 on PC, PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Few video games have developed rabid and dependable fanbases like Battlefront 2, even after 2 graphically superior sequels. Many followers argue that the marketing campaign, Galactic Conquest and the multiplayer maps are far superior to what EA is making now. Placed on the PC, and it's arduous to argue towards this title's superiority. And as of October 2017, the beforehand shut down online play for PC is again in full power, with no indicators of slowing down. So finally, number 1, we have Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This came out in 2003 on the PC and Xbox. Knights of the Old Republic completed what nearly no different Star Wars game has. It created a narrative that's even higher than something within the motion pictures. The story of your character's progression as a Jedi and the story's massive twists are still loved now. No other Star Wars game has given you power over the destiny of the galaxy, permitting you to decide on whether or not to avoid wasting the Republic or rule it with an iron fist. Now we just need to get BioWare to make Knights of the Old Republic 3. So there you go, there's a rundown of the top 25 Star Wars games. What wasn't included is the one that has just come out. I completed. It took me about 3 days to complete. I was really going at it. But I think if you haven't got it, I'm sure you will have you played it. If you're listening to this episode that is about gaming, Star Wars gaming, I'm sure you'll have played it. But I won't spoil anything. There'll be no spoilers. There is a big spoiler right at the end of it, but you probably know it by now. But I won't be mentioning it here. But it is flipping awesome. So you play as Cal Kestis, a former Padawan and untrained Jedi who seems to have forgot his skills. You do find out through memories other Jedi skills, and you pick up skill points by fighting enemies to get other force powers, and you build up a force tree. The story is pretty linear, but you can return to other planets. I think there's about 5 or 6 planets that you go to. There's only one that you can't return to, but you do have to return to the other planets to get everything, every secret, every crate, every bits for your lightsaber, clothing, ship skins, even plant seeds. When I first saw this game being played, I wasn't very enamoured by it because it looked a lot really platformy, and I don't do platformy games. But it's more akin to something like Tomb Raider or Assassin's Creed, and there are some puzzles to solve along the way. The combat system is pretty good too. Yeah, you do a lot of blocking and get their powers down to 0 so you can attack them. It's not a very challenging game really. You can put the level up to Jedi Master, I think it is. But once you learn to block and when to attack on each different boss, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, even the stormtroopers can kill you at the end of the day. Once you get those force powers, it's all quite easy. And a lot of the enemies you just tend to force push off the edge. I think the most satisfying part of the combat, which you actually start off with, is blocking the blaster bolts with your lightsaber back at them. Graphically, the game is not the best I've ever seen. It's not bad. There are some really nice cutscenes, especially on Kashyyyk. But yeah, the graphics could do a bit beefing up. The animations sometimes take a little too long to work through. But all in all, it's one of the best Star Wars games we've had in a long time. And hopefully EA will sit up and take notice that we want single-player, story-based games. And when they do a second one, which they will do a second one, I hope the story is just as good as this one. Maybe make it a bit longer. It doesn't seem to be very long. Yes, you can go back to the other planets, but once you've done them, it's you won't want to replay it. I don't think I'll replay it. I might do, but I just don't want to lose all those force powers that I've got because I've got every one of them. But maybe in a few months' time, I will revisit it and run through it again. Because, as I say, it's one of the best games that, definitely one of the best Star Wars games that I've played in a long time. So there you go. Hope you've enjoyed this game-centric edition of the podcast. On next week's show, I think I'm going to be talking about Lego Star Wars. So if you've got any questions or anything you'd like me to discuss about Star Wars Lego, just let me know. All the links are in the show notes. But until then, may the toys be with you.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend, time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.